So there's not a great deal written about the history of souvenirs, but I found it a little bit interesting. So anyway, it seems to have developed during the Crusades, because of pilgrims travelling to the Holy Land during the Crusades, and this is because the pilgrims initially just chipped off pieces of relics when they visited and brought them back. So to prevent any further damage done to these relics, a small sort of souvenir-based economy developed. Now it soon spread across all of Europe, so all the religious sites, well according to reports, all the religious sites here in Italy and Germany and England and pretty much everywhere had souvenir shops lining the streets in front of them. And in terms of what they sold, archaeologists have found a lot of ampullae, which are sort of small water bottles designed for carrying holy water back home, but they've also found statues and stuff like that. But probably the most common souvenir that pilgrims brought back home were badges, which at least in England could be bought, well, a dozen of them could be bought for a penny. Now these badges were of course pinned to clothing, and it was believed by many that they could protect the wearer. But the badges, which were usually just of saints, also were believed to have healing properties. For instance, they were sometimes dipped in water to create medicine, and they were passed around ill people. But the pilgrims had a lot more in common with modern-day tourists than you might think. I think a lot of people believe that pilgrims travel to the Holy Land in order to gain penance or some form of forgiveness. But as early as the 4th century AD, a scholar named Paulinius of Nola said, well, he went into great detail about pilgrims who travelled to the Holy Land were doing so just in order to see and touch the places that Jesus had been, i.e. the places that they've read about for so long, and it seems no more spiritual than that. So it seems no different to people, say, travelling to places that Hemingway has wrote about today. And in the 15th century, a pilgrim named Santabrasco was angered by other pilgrims and said, "Let no man go to the Holy Land just to see the world or simply boast to his friends. I have been there and I have done that," and so win the admiration of his friends. And I know I'm a hypocrite here because I'm travelling and a bit of a tourist, but I'm sure that you can see the connection there between medieval pilgrims and modern day tourists. So it just seems that the pilgrimage featured on a lot of medieval bucket lists.